So one of the ladies in our free group, Women Over 50 Get Active and Healthy, said her biggest challenge is her strength and her cardio fitness. And I thought this was a great one to cover today. How are you, Sel?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, good, good. So I thought, firstly, it's important to recognize if we need any improvement when it comes to our strength and our cardio fitness. And it could be based on various indicators. And I thought what I might do, firstly, Sal, is just go through some of those identifiers. Things like, noticing struggles in everyday life, maybe climbing up the stairs or carrying your groceries, or, feeling fatigued when you do a certain activity. That's one area, right? Shortness in breath when you're doing something.
Yes.
The other one was, lifting or moving objects around, or, your posture feels quite compromised. And, maybe even something as simple as you're getting more injuries more often as well too.
Hmm.
So, and then the other area was, just those vital signs, what's your cholesterol like, what's your blood pressure like, so they're always good indicators as well that you might need to do something extra as far as your fitness levels are concerned. And the other one is, excess body fat, because if we're losing that muscle definition, that is also a sign that we're going to need to do something in regards to building that strength. Is there anything else that you think of other than those primary areas that would indicate strength and
No,
fit?
I think you've covered them all. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So what I went with firstly was the most important thing is if you've identified this, then you need to assess those key fitness metrics, such as your stability, your strength, your endurance, your flexibility, because that's going to give you that baseline so that you can track your improvements over time. And you could do this lots of different ways. You could do, how many push-ups can I do in a minute? How many step-ups can I do in a minute? How many plank, can I hold a plank for, a minute as an example? Or, it could be as simple as how many sit to stands can I do? So, and how does my heart rate recover after I've done, a 1 kilometer run as an example? So what's going on there? Where would you go from there, Sel?
I would then probably start adding in some, you were doing push-ups and those sort of things. Um, I would probably then maybe, if you're comfortable, picking up some 1 kilo dumbbells, seeing what your strength is like with the 1 kilo dumbbell,
Yeah,
bicep curls, your squats or your sit to stands holding weights.
yes.
But not going crazy and picking up 6 kilo dumbbells, just those 1 kilos, because it's just a little bit of weight added in.
Yeah, and I think that baseline is so, so important, because particularly if you look at all the different fitness matrix that we're talking about there, because if you know that, for example, your strength has declined and you need to improve your strength, but when you do, for example, maybe that plank and your stability isn't good, or maybe you've tried to stand on a leg for 10 seconds and you can't hold it for 10 seconds, then, adding in some type of weights at that point is just going to lead to, possible injuries and the like, because we want to make sure that we fix the right thing first so that we can build upon that.
Absolutely. And the thing to keep in mind too is that you could be, a champion in one area, but not in another area. So your endurance may be great because you run 6Ks every day, but you may
Yes.
not be able to do a workout with just 2 kilo weights. you know, or vice versa. Your strength might be fabulous, but that endurance may not be there.
Yeah, exactly. And it all comes back down to not just putting yourself into one type of focus with fitness.
Yeah,
It needs to cover,
it's a whole.
yeah, that's exactly right. Because if we don't cover off all of those aspects, then what's going to happen is something's going to give at some point. Like if we don't have a lot of flexibility and mobility in, an ankle joint, as an example, we're not going to be able to do those really deep squats. So therefore, we want to do a little bit of mobility work before we head into those squats as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I think then from there, keeping a detailed record of your workouts, that includes exercises, reps, sets, duration, intensity, that allows you then to continue to monitor the progress. And so that you can always go, oh, okay, this is how far I've come, or hang on a minute, I've been doing the same thing for a month now, and I'm not really seeing any improvement. So that's an indicator to actually go and do something that little bit different to make some changes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And going back to that endurance, I know you and I both have our smart watches, and, doing our walking and running and that sort of thing. You can always track on those sort of things because it gives such detailed information, so how fast your pace is, how fast your lap is, in that 10 minutes that, maybe it takes you 10 minutes to do, a 5K run, whatever. Are you getting quicker in that 10 minutes?
Yeah.
So I know, like, if you, with your fitness trackers, you can definitely track whether you're improving or staying the same or going backwards. Because I know, like, you had that, you noticed yourself that you were like, oh, what's going on here?
Yeah, I did.
In your running, yeah.
Yeah, I went, okay, that just feels slower to me, and when I had a look, it was slower. And that's because I think we can start to rest on our laurels a lot as well too.
Yeah.
If we're not actually checking in with ourselves and monitoring that progress along the way. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I think just having a look then at, what's the average for my age group as such, because we don't want to be average. We want to be better than average, because what it means is if I'm better now, as I'm aging, I'm going to be able to maintain doing all those things that are important to me as well too.
Absolutely.
I also thought about performance, Sal, like what size weights am I lifting, or what distance am I covering, which is all that stuff that you were just talking about, the speed.
Yes.
That is also really, really helpful. It's a bit of it's not something that I suppose you can go tick with, but I thought about that, how you're feeling, have you got more energy? Have you got more energy? Yeah. Are you more fatigued? Are you feeling happier? All those types of things are good, positive indicators that things are changing for you, but those things are not necessarily things that we think about as well too.
No. And I think that's a really good one. Your mood after a workout, your mood before a workout. Yeah. I'm comparing that before and after. But if you're tracking and 5 days in a row you didn't enjoy what you were doing, then it's time to change to something that you do enjoy doing. And that can be a lot of trial and error.
Yes, yeah. And look, and I know that that's important, is that you want to be able to find something that you enjoy, but you've got to give it enough time as well too. And sometimes we do have to just do the hard stuff that we may not want to do as well too.
Yeah.
So, Yeah, there's all of those factors to weigh up. I think monitoring changes in body composition as well too. So looking for those decreases in body fat, and which indicates that you are building more muscles, so therefore you are going to be feeling a little bit stronger as well too. And of course, we don't naturally think about strength training as something that's going to build our cardiovascular fitness either, but it does.
If you're doing a powerful strength workout, a lot of explosive movements,
Yeah,
it definitely can increase it.
yeah, that's right. Or what you can do is you can combine both types of workout styles together as well too.
Yeah.
So that's always
Yeah.
very helpful. So you got anything else that you think is important?
Another indicator of, you were talking about your body composition, the visceral fat around your stomach.
Oh, yes.
Because when I started strength training, I never focused on my core, but I noticed that that's where I was losing the weight.
Yes.
Because with strength training, it's because you have to hold your posture in a certain way.
Yes.
So those muscles are engaged. It's that incidental strength training that you're doing in that area.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I just wanted to keep it really simple today, because I think that, firstly, it's like find out what's going on with you. So listen for those signs. Secondly, you now have a baseline, and this is where you're going to start from. Then, you start to build your program from there, but you want to continually track it so that you do build that strength and that fitness as well too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else
Definitely.
you want to wrap up with?
I just want to add on to that baseline. Remember, ladies, that baseline is going to change in 4 to 6 weeks. So if you're improving and if you're challenging yourself, that baseline will be different in 4 to 6 weeks. So keep note of the new baseline.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, the other point is that, if you've had a week off and you've been sick or something like that, you're going to notice it when you come back. You're going to notice that decline in your strength and, your cardiovascular fitness as well too. So you go, okay, I'm just giving myself some slack here. It's not going to take me long because my muscles have a little bit of memory. So I'm going to get straight back into it as well too.
And just adding to that, that's another thing to track. How often are you getting sick? So, I know you've not been very well this past week, so if you are not feeling well, ladies, and you do end up having to take a week off, track it.
Oh, absolutely.
We do get sick. So
yeah, and it's really interesting at the moment here in Australia. For myself personally, I hardly ever get sick. But we have a lot of ladies in our community who hardly ever get sick. And then all of a sudden, there's a lot of things going on at the moment, lots of different little bugs that are raising their heads, and they're just getting us for some reason. So, so we want to make sure that, we're staying diligent with, those lifestyle factors that can help us as well too. Yeah, exactly. All right, Sel, thanks for joining me today. Thanks for joining us, ladies.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Bye.
All
Have
right,
a good
we'll
day.
see you all soon. Bye. Bye for now.
Bye.